Today, we geek out about Holmes and Moriarty. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lee from Geek City USA here. Today we're going to take a look at a game called Holmes and Moriarty that's on Kickstarter right now. It's a game by Escape Velocity Games, and it's a two-player card drafting game in which one player takes on the role of Holmes and the other player takes on the role of Moriarty. And we're going to take a look at it. I'll give you a run through and show you how a game's played, and then we'll come back and I'll let you know my thoughts. Alright, so this is Holmes and Moriarty. So one person is going to play Holmes and one is going to play Moriarty. Now let me preface this by saying that this is a print and play copy that I threw together, so this is definitely not the final version of the game that you will be getting. I believe the art is the same and it will look similar, but the final quality will be way higher than what this print and play is. Alright, so the goal of this game is for the Moriarty player to get 3 in a row. So think of it as kind of like a tic-tac-toe, either vertical, horizontal, diagonal, whatever way they can get 3 markers in a row, Moriarty will win. Now Holmes's goal is to prevent Moriarty from being able to get 3 in a row, or from basically making it on the board so Moriarty can't get 3 in a row. There are 15 case cards in this game, and which breaks down to 5 turns. So Moriarty has 5 turns to get 3 in a row. If Holmes can last those 5 turns, or if he can make the board inaccessible or unworkable for Moriarty to get 3 in a row, Holmes can win the game early. So here's how the game works. So first you're going to shuffle these case cards and you're going to deal 3 out, because we are going to do 3 cases per round for a total of 15. Okay, and then these are the plot cards. Now these cards have numbers and letters that coincide with numbers and letters and colors on the score chart. So this is basically, if you score one of these cards, this would be the location that you would put your marker. So here's how it works. You're going to deal 7 cards to each player, and that will leave you with 2 extras that you will discard. And then how this works is each player is going to look at their hand, and so if I'm Holmes right now, I'm going to want to play a card. Now I'm going to end up playing 2 cards. So you have a crime row right here, and then you're going to have a clue row. Now we're each going to play a card into the crime row. So let's say Holmes plays this green 9. Okay, that's the crime row. And then he's going to play a card into the clue row. Now what happens is this card, it's going to be kind of like a war. So you're going to see what Holmes picks and what Moriarty picks. So we'll just say Moriarty picks this card and this card. Okay? And they're going to end up passing these, so they're going to trade hands for the next part. But let me just explain this real quick. So what's going to happen is they're going to flip these 2 cards. And the highest card is going to be the trump card. So here you have a green 9W for Whitehall. And here you have an 11C for, what is that, Charing Cross. Now, the highest number is going to be the trump suit. So this would make red the trump suit, which means when we flip these cards, the trump suit will be the highest, followed by any others. So in this case here, trump is red. Now, nobody has red here, so you go by the highest card. So this being 16, higher than 4, Holmes would win this hand. And then he would in turn place a marker on the board. So let's go through a few rounds here, and I'll show you. I'll reshuffle these and kind of give you an example here. These are shuffled again and redealt. So this is Holmes' hand. So let's say that Holmes is going to place, we'll just say I won't really be doing any strategy here, but just to kind of show how the game is played. Here's his 2 cards, and then he would pass those over to Moriarty. Now Moriarty's doing the same thing, and he's going to play his 2 cards. Let's just say he plays this, and then this, and then this hand would come over to Holmes. Now Holmes is going to play, just say this and this, pass the deck over. These are Moriarty's cards. And again, I'm not really doing any strategy, showing kind of how the game works here. These become Holmes's cards, so he'll play this one, and then this one, and then this one's left out, and then Moriarty will just play this card and this card. Okay, so now we're going to want to resolve each case. So the first case, both the investigator and the criminal here are going to switch or flip their cards. So you see here that Holmes has an 8 and Moriarty has a 6. So this instantly makes this suit the trump suit. So then Holmes flips this card. He has a 2. It's a low card, but it is in trump. And Moriarty has a 14. So Moriarty would be the one who wins this hand. I don't know if you can see that it's kind of cut off a little bit, but 14, red 14. So Moriarty wins this hand. So what happens is we're going to place one of Moriarty's cubes here because he is going to end up scoring this. And because Moriarty won this hand, he is going to score this card here, the crime row. So what will happen is he's going to place this token on the 6W on the board here. Whereas if Holmes would have won this, he wouldn't score the crime row, he scores a clue row, so he would score the bottom card that he has, which would be the 2, so he would score here. So let's go on to the next one here. We have a yellow 10, a blue 7, so yellow is the trump suit, and Moriarty has a 4 green, and Holmes has a 5. So Holmes has a trump suit, so Holmes is going to place a card. And we'll do the third case. Blue 12, green 9. So the 12 is higher, so blue is trump. So Holmes has a 1 in the trump suit. And Moriarty has a 16. Even though 16 is higher, the 1 is trump, so therefore Holmes will win this one. So now what you do is if Moriarty wins 2 or more cases, or if Moriarty wins 2 cases, after all these cubes are placed, Holmes has to place another Moriarty cube somewhere on the board. And if Moriarty scores all 3, Holmes has to place 2 Moriarty markers on the board. Okay, so in this case, Moriarty wins, so he's going to score this, so this is going to go in 6W. Now this is the case card, so you flip this, and this will indicate if there's a plot twist. If it's a Moriarty card, it is not. And the plot twists only apply when Holmes wins. So Holmes won these 2, so he's going to place at 5T. And is there a plot twist? There is not. And I'll explain those if we flip one. And this one, Holmes is going to score at 1B. So right there. And again, no plot twist. So now you see Moriarty has 1 cube on the board, or 1 marker, and Holmes has 2. And then we're going to continue on to we're going to shuffle these, and we'll discard these 3 cases, and we are going to deal the next hand. All right, so we're going to play our 3 cases down, and then each side's going to get 7 cards. Again, we'll have 2 cards that get discarded, and then we'll go through and everybody's going to place their cards. And I'm just going to place randomly here. All right, so let's flip here. This is the second round. So Holmes has a 16, and Moriarty has a 2. Now, this actually works out for us because there is what's kind of called a wraparound effect. So when it comes to trump card, 16 actually loses to crime 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so basically there's no card is all powerful. So 16 will lose to a 1, 2, and a 3. If this were a 15, a 1 and a 2 would beat it. And if this were a 14, a 1 would beat it. So that kind of levels the playing field. So in this case, the red suit is trump. So then let's flip this. There's a blue 7, a blue 1. So neither of these are trump. So this 7 wins it. So Holmes wins this case. Next one here, we have a yellow 10, a green 9. So yellow is trump. Yellow 5. A red 11. So this one, even though this 11 is higher than 5, 5 is a trump suit. So Moriarty wins this case. And finally, we have a blue 12, green 4. So blue is trump. A green 6 and 8. So neither of these are trump, so 8's higher, so Holmes wins this. So now let's score these. So Holmes will place in 7B. Then we're going to flip this, see if this case has a plot twist, and it does. Okay, now what this plot twist says is if you flip this card on one of Holmes's victories, he gets to place an extra cube at either one of these locations marked on the case card. So in this case, Charing Cross or Whitehall. So anything with a C or a W, Holmes may place an extra cube at. So with that in mind, Holmes will place a cube. It doesn't really matter, we'll say there. And this one here, Moriarty wins, so Moriarty gets to put one at 9W. And it was a plot twist, but it doesn't matter because it was Moriarty victory. Now Holmes gets to place here at 8C, because again, Holmes scores a clue path. So we'll go there, and then not a plot twist. So let's go on to the next round. So we see here right now, if we look, Moriarty just needs to get something in that 3T, and then Moriarty would win the game. In theory, Holmes would obviously be working out a strategy to somehow be able to score that card. But like I said, I'm not playing with strategy, just giving an example of the gameplay. All right, so here, let's flip these. We have a blue 7, a red 11. Red is a trump suit. See, blue 12, red 8. So Moriarty scores this. Yellow 10, blue 13. Blue is trump. Got a red 14, green 9, so Holmes scores this one. Blue 1, red 2, red wins this one. Got a green 6, and a yellow 5, so this one would be Holmes as well. Let's say, for the sake of argument on this one, this goes like this. So that way Moriarty wins it. So I want to show an example here. All right, so first Moriarty's going to score. So he's going to score at 11C. And this doesn't matter because it's a Moriarty case. This one here, Holmes won, puts one at 14C. You see here Moriarty's got a chance here to win again. And no plot twist. And here, 2C. It's a Moriarty case, so Moriarty's going to place that there. And this doesn't matter. So, but now, because Moriarty won 2 cases, Holmes has to place another Moriarty cube somewhere on the deck, somewhere on the board. So obviously you're not going to want to do it here because it would make him win, or here. So let's just place it here, kind of out of the way. Okay, and basically now we would continue this until either we played all 5 rounds with the remaining case cards here, or until Moriarty got 3 in a row, or until Holmes makes the board as such that Moriarty can't possibly get 3 in a row. All right, and that's it. That's Holmes versus Moriarty. Now let's take you back up and I will give you my review. All right, so that was Holmes and Moriarty. So what are my thoughts on this? Well, let me say this is the second time I've shot this review. So I shot the review and the playthrough and everything once already, had some issues with it, and so I had to redo it. I took that opportunity to completely redo my print and play. So originally when I was sent the print and play files to this, I printed them out, I sleeved them, and just threw them together really quick. Now, not knowing what this, I'm not big into the Sherlock Holmes lore. I don't know much about it. So to me, this was more about the idea behind the game. And it really is an abstract game with the Holmes and Moriarty theme on top of it. Now, if you're a fan of Holmes and Moriarty, I'm sure you'll enjoy it for that fact, because it is very visually stunning and it references locations and people from the series. So, you know, that's a plus if you're a fan of Holmes and Moriarty. Now, I am indifferent on it, so to me it was more of an abstract with the theme on top of it, which was fine. I love the look and the visual of the game. So, like I said, when I had issues with the first run through and recording and everything, I took that to completely redo this, because just doing it like this, we have played this a ton. This has become a very surprising enjoyment for my wife and I. You know, her and I sat down to play through this a number of times just to get an understanding of the game, and we both really enjoyed it. And we played it a lot in succession the first evening we played it. So much so, as you can see, I decided to make a little more legitimate print and play. So let's start with the art on the game. I absolutely love the art. I love the calm muted colors. I really appreciate the fact that even though these cards are colored and suited, in addition to colors, there's also letters to go along with it. So that means if you're playing this with somebody who's colorblind, or if you are colorblind, you are still fully able to play this game. There should be no limitations with that. So I always love when that is implemented into a game, the consideration for colorblind people, because you never know when you might be playing with somebody who might not be able to enjoy the game as a result of color deficiencies. I love the fact that the playing card backs, I don't know if you can see, they're very vintage looking and they look very sharp. They look just like old-fashioned cards. So I can't say enough about the art. I really like the art of the game. Now again, the gameplay is pretty simplistic when you think about it overall. You're just trying to score the highest trick, and then you can play tic-tac-toe and get 3 in a row and win. But the strategy in this game is very in-depth, because Holmes scores the clue row and Moriarty scores the crime row. Now, with that in mind, the way you play as Holmes and the way you play as Moriarty are completely different, because figure Moriarty is trying to get a trump card, wants to play a high card, but what if he wants to score the number 4? He's going to play the green 4, but what are the odds of him getting that as trump? So, you know, you see kind of how you're going to look at the hand that you have before you pass it over to your opponent to make sure, wow, he needs this card, I want to take this out so he can't get it. You know, you're kind of feeding them the cards, or maybe you're going to play a card that you don't want and risk not getting any spaces because there's already a cube there, just because you don't want your opponent to be able to score that card. So it's really cool with regards to that. So there is a lot of strategy inside of this game. All in all, the gameplay is pretty quick. You can play, I would say you can get a game of this in about 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe 10 minutes. But there is so much strategy and it's so dynamic that the desire to play again and again is there. I really enjoy the fact that in this game, it condenses very well to where all you really have is a deck of cards and a score sheet. And if you want, you don't even really need the score sheet, and I don't know how this is going to be for the actual final copy. I used it, the back side of these cards, but you have a mini score sheet on the back of one of your cards. So I don't know if this is going to be in the final game. It was in the print and play, and it seemed logical that this was the way it'd be put together. But even so, I mean, you could take the scorecard and you could fold it up and take it with you. And then you don't need these cubes. These are cubes that I have from just another game. What we used when we first played this was we used coins, copper, and the silver, you know, indicated who was who. But it's a very portable game. But all in all, we absolutely love this game, so I would definitely recommend this game. All right, guys. Well, I'm Lee from Geek City, USA. Thanks for hanging out with us and checking out this review. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that stuff, and go ahead and check us out on Facebook and interact with me. Reach out on the group or in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll check you out next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.